So after one of the best comic book movies of all time, we were given this as a sequel. It's kind of like getting caviar for an appetizer, and for an entree, we get a Big Mac. Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and welcome to my review for Iron Man 2. This movie was directed once again by Jon Favreau, and it stars Robert Downey Jr., Mickey Rourke, Don Cheadle, Gwyneth Paltrow, Scarlett Johansson, and Samuel L. Jackson. This is the latest in my continuing series where I'll be reviewing all of the MCU movies that I have not talked about yet, leading up to Avengers Infinity War on May 4th. After defeating Obadiah Stane, Tony Stark dropped a massive pipe bomb. I am Iron Man. And the world was swept over with Starkamania. But with every bomb that goes off, there is always a fallout. And in the words of the Social Network poster, you don't get to 500 million friends without making a few enemies. And the Man of Iron makes an enemy out of Ivan Vanko, played by Mickey Rourke. But that problem is only the tip of the iceberg for Mr. Stark, as he is, in fact, dying. The mini-arc reactor that's in his chest is poisoning him with palladium. In a cruel form of irony, the thing that's keeping him alive is also killing him. Iron Man changed how comic book movies were portrayed by both critics and audiences, so a sequel was already at a handicap. But despite its moments of good things, this movie is pretty bad. Robert Downey Jr. will always be Iron Man to me. With that being said, he kind of sucked in this movie. Not Downey Jr. himself. He played the character fine. He always does. But the character of Tony Stark was just so much worse than the first one. Instead of doing what a sequel should do and progressing the character kind of regressed. At the beginning of Iron Man, Tony Stark started out as the playboy asshole, and over time throughout that movie, he turned into a force for good. In this movie, he basically went back to that first part. I realize, of course, that he was in fact dying. But even still, let's talk about Mickey Rourke's character, Ivan Vanko. This villain could have been great, and like I said, he does have some moments. But overall, he was kind of wasted potential. His introduction when he attacks Tony Stark at the Monaco Grand Prix was awesome. And then he gets into the hands of Justin Hammer, and I'm gonna talk about him, don't you worry. He's all of a sudden obsessed with them getting his bird. You are a villain who wants to kill Tony Stark. You shouldn't be worrying about birds. Speaking on that note, let's talk about Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer, because my God was he bad. And I don't hate Sam Rockwell as an actor. He's really good. He just won a Golden Globe for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. In this movie, though, he was terrible. He was basically the same as Obadiah Stane in the last movie, just a guy in a suit. But at least Obadiah Stane had some menace about him because he was played by Jeff Bridges. In this movie, Justin Hammer's just a goofball. I saw him as no threat to Tony Stark or Iron Man at all. Let's talk about Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. I liked her in the first movie. I did not like her here. Because the majority of the scenes that take place between Tony and Pepper are just them bickering. As one is talking, the other is trying to talk over them, and vice versa. I hate that about movies. I hate when movies have two characters talking over each other, trying to get the better of the other. I hate it. Just have one person talk and then another person respond. What's so complicated about that? Her character in Iron Man 2 is basically, Tony, you can't do this. Because I said so. That's basically her entire character. Let's talk about Don Cheadle as Rhodey. This was his first appearance as Rhodey, and he would continue the character so supposedly until Infinity War. And like I said in my Iron Man review, I prefer him as Rhodey over Terrence Howard. He has a great scene with Tony after Monaco, and he basically chews Tony out. Tony, you need to get up there and control this, okay? Because I have been on the phone with the National Guard because they will roll tanks of PCH and take these. They're going to take your suits, Tony, alright? They're sick of the games. You can tell that he wants to help Tony fight these battles, but Tony is not letting him. So he's getting really, really frustrated. Which leads to the Iron Man War Machine fight in the house, which is admittedly one of the best scenes of the movie. And the attempts at humor work best in this scene. I'll talk about the humor in a little bit. Talk about Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Not only is she pretty hot, but she can kick my ass for sure. She's awesome, I'll just leave it at that. Now let's talk about Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. He only made an appearance at the end of Iron Man in the infamous end credit scene where he tells Tony Stark, I'd like to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. But in this movie, it's kind of like he's just there. He has his good moments, but overall, he's not very good. He also makes this really cringeworthy joke where he's about to leave Tony's house after the Iron Man War Machine fight, and he turns to Tony and he says, "Oh, and Mr. Stark, I've got my eye on you." Do you get it? Do you get it? Because he has one eye. Do you get it? Do you get it? I almost wanted to turn the movie off after that because it was painful. But I continued on. The best way I can describe this movie is wasted potential. When the movie is not trying to go after the lulls and tries to be serious, it's really good. When it tries to shoehorn awful comedy in it, the movie becomes bad. Iron Man had its humorous moments as well, but it flowed with the seriousness of the movie. At the movie's core, Iron Man is a serious movie. In Iron Man 2, this felt like more of a comedy with its serious moments, and it felt unnecessary. Iron Man 2 is definitely one of the worst of the MCU. And that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my Thor review. That should be fun. I haven't seen Thor ever since the theater, so seeing the first one again is going to be really interesting. But if you liked this video and you want to see more like it, please be sure to leave a like and also subscribe so that you never miss a new video. And did you like Iron Man 2? Did you hate Iron Man 2? Or did you think it was just okay? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And the links to all of my social media will be in the description below. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.